Hi, thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mom Boss Chronicles. So today I'm so excited about our guest that we have zooming in from Chicago, Stacy Gonzalez. Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
So Stacy is a content creator and she focuses on mid-size fashion for women. So I just love this so much for so many reasons. And yeah, we'll jump right in. So Stacy, how did you get into this?
So I've always been into fashion, like since I was a little girl. And one of my friends, her brother's actually a content creator, and he's pretty successful with it because it's rare for men, right? Like, so it was easy for him to blow up quickly. So she kept telling me, like, you should try. And I'm like, no, like that's so weird. I would never do that. Stop. And she kept pushing me. And then I'm like, you know what do I have to lose? Like, I'm just going to do it because I love shopping. I've loved shopping since I was a little girl. And I was like, I'm just going to try. I already knew the marketing side of it. So let's just do it. So I started just posting like reels. And I was like, my friends think I'm so weird. Like they are looking at
So how long
I was
ago?
going to say that must have been weird to like, if I started that, my friends would be like, what is she doing?
my personal account. So keep in mind, like there's men like guys did like, you know what I mean? Like following me. And they were probably like, what is she doing?
What is she doing?
And how long ago was that?
That was August, like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Wow.
But I love it. But you're like, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing it. And a few people wrote me and they're like, this is so cool. Like, I'm so glad you're doing it. And a couple people were like, what are you doing? Oh, weird.
Eating their words now.
I'm like, right away, my husband, he's like, you're so good at this. Like, keep.
Oh, you're cheerleader.
Yeah, he's so supportive. So I just kept going and like, I just
Awesome.
posting.
You didn't listen to the naysayers or that little voice in your head. Like, what am I doing? This is weird.
Yeah. And it was weird, and people always ask me, like, how'd you get started? Like, and I'm like, I can't give you exactly how to do it. You just have to start.
And be authentic. I'm sure you were just authentic in what you were doing.
Is just like who I am. Like, I'm sure you can tell me now, like who I am on the videos is literally like who I am in real life. And specifically like the mid-size thing, I'm like, that's cool. There's a bunch of mid-sized girls, but there's none with a large chest. And so that's great. Like how the clothes fit your body, but not relevant. Like you're not helping me,
Yes, it's so true. And that's what I really love because I can relate. And it's so hard. People are like, oh, you're so lucky. You have big boobs. And I'm like, it's a curse. You have no idea. I look pregnant in everything I wear. It's so so for everyone, I stumbled across Stacy's page. I'm not sure how, honestly, but I loved it so much. So I don't even know Stacy on a personal level really, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna message her, see if she would come on the podcast, and she was so nice and she agreed to it, and
That's awesome.
and here we are. But I just love it so much. I love the message. I love that you show that women of any size can look cute and wear fun outfits, and I just appreciate that so much, whether you're a size 0 or you're a 14 or whatever it is. Like there's something there for everyone. And I'll look at your stuff and still I'll be like, I could never pull that off. I think I like wrote that in your comment once and you're like, yes, you can. I just have to do it. But I just think what you do, it might sound silly, but I think it really is so important what you're doing, because I mentioned to Jen and Sue, I was following this content creator once, and she was probably like a size 2 and posted really cute stuff and everything. And I ended up unfollowing her because it made me feel bad about myself. I loved what she posted, but I couldn't relate. So
same, like literally same. There were, I think the influencer, like content creator thing started with skinnier people.
Yeah.
And I followed a bunch of them too. And I unfollowed as well. Cause I'm like, I've bought things that you recommended. It looks terrible on me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not very helpful. Like,
Right.
and then it makes you feel a certain type of way. You're like, it's cute. Good for you, girl. You know?
So true. And I love that there's this whole community of content creators sort of focusing on this now. And I mean, it branches out to like everything, right? Victoria's Secret, they have plus size I hate that term, but it's just normal women.
Different bodies. Yes. Instead of the one body that they've been
Right,
promoting
exactly.
forever. Yeah.
So I love that it's becoming, more of the norm.
Size in America is a 16. It's not a 2 or a 4 or anything like
that we've been fed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Childhood. I know.
It's crazy that, like anybody looks at anyone who is a 16 differently. Cause I'm like, that's literally what everybody is. So.
Yeah, I know. Especially after you have kids, it's, becomes more challenging. I know that.
A big part of starting it was because after I had my first son, I had a brand new body. And I was like, I literally looked at my husband for the first time, like naked. And I was like, is this a joke? Like, this is a joke, right? And he was like, I don't see it. Like, what are you talking about? What's a joke? I'm like, this body, like,
we're always so hard on ourselves. It's
yeah. And he's like, you look great. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, my stomach,
Like, you had a baby. I know.
You built a human.
Yeah.
But it's hard for us to
appreciate
really,
it.
Yeah. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. It's still like everybody's, everyone preaches body positivity. And while I get that, it's okay to like not like certain parts of your body.
Yeah,
for sure.
You have to be like, I love my stomach. Like I don't like it. And that's the fact of the matter. And so that was kind of my platform that I stood on, like always, instead of being like body positivity. Like, it's okay. If you don't like your belly, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right. It's so true. And I bet even women who are a size 0 or size 2 will find something they hate about their body. It's just their human nature. My boobs aren't big, whatever it might be, my hair. So I love it so much. And then I think it gives you this platform to sort of integrate other topics you might want to talk about. So is there anything that you...
Yeah, I mean, like I've talked to you about, my son's autistic. And so I don't talk about it like on a daily basis just because I don't want people to be like, we get it. You're so autistic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do want to bring awareness to the fact that not like that he's autistic, but to the fact that these are things that us parents go through, because before I had him, I did not know half of this. And I'll get into some of what I'm talking about, but bringing like awareness to that and supporting the mom village of special needs moms.
Right. Especially a content creator, somebody you can look up to who's a content creator who understands the struggle as a mom of a child with autism.
Right.
And autism is so relevant now. Like more and more children are diagnosed with it every year. So I really try to incorporate it in a good way. Not like my life sucks, I have an autistic child. Like my life is awesome because
I love that.
Autistic child that is teaching me so much about life,
Embracing it. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. There's, and the spectrum is so like vast now, which is, I think, great because I'm sure people have struggled in the past with issues with their children and not knowing what it was. So that, I don't know if that was something you guys dealt with or how you sort of came to the diagnosis.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about that? Like how that
we'd love to hear about that.
So I have an older son too, who's neurotypical. So, like we went through the same things everybody else does, like
right.
A little bit slow to talk, but then he just started booming and taking off, and he's amazing, and he's like great in school, great at sports, all that stuff. So naturally I compared them, which I know never compare your children, but naturally I did. And I'm like, my son, the little one, his name's Sebastian. So he was around 18. Thank you. He was around 18 months. And I'm like, I don't know, like something here is off. He actually had broken his leg, which was so sad. But that was when I kind of like slowed down and took a step back and was like, he doesn't really talk. He doesn't wave. Like he doesn't like clap, like stuff like that, where you're like, I don't know. So I called early intervention, which I know every state has, and I'm like, something like I don't really know what it is, but can you come and see my child and like do your evaluation? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So they come and they're like, oh yeah, he definitely needs like 4 types of therapies, and I'm like, okay, cool, like let's just do it, great, you know. But at the time, no one mentioned autism, nothing like that, and it was kind of in the back of my head, but I'm like, no, like he's not autistic. And then COVID happened and he wasn't really getting therapy. So I'm like, okay, what's going to happen now? And they had asked me, hey, do you want to put him on a waiting list to see a developmental pediatrician so they can give him an official diagnosis with whatever it may be? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, why would I not? You know, they're like,
Right.
it's a year-long wait. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and they're all like that because it's a profession that doctors don't really want. It's really, really hard, like to tell a parent, hey, your child's autistic.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to go into that diagnosis. You know, it's not
Right.
just easy where like, you have strep. It's
Right.
not
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, COVID time went on and he was not really getting therapy because it was virtual. So I'm like chasing him.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Which is hard.
Yeah.
Horrible, right?
Yeah, that's no child wants that.
Right. Autistic or not, any 2-year-old would be like, why?
Right.
Yeah.
So he was diagnosed virtually,
Wow. Interesting.
which was actually kind of terrible. So it was like this, like we had a
Right.
doctor and like 2 people on the screen. It was my husband and I, and then my son the whole time was behind us on the couch on his head. Literally. Like
Okay.
he had never done that before. So I was like, what is happening? Like he was just hanging out on his head, laughing, thought everything was
Being a
hilarious.
toddler. Yeah.
But I'm like, we're getting that diagnosis. Like they're gonna say he's autistic. Look at this. And my
Right.
husband was like, I don't know. I'm like, no, like it's happening. Look at this. And they go on like a wait and they come back and they're like, you know, we're really sorry, but you know, it seems like your child's autistic. I'm like, duh. Like by then I was like, hello.
Right.
Like
Right.
obviously he's
Do we
autistic.
really have to go through all of this?
What's happening?
Yeah.
I did for that the rest of the day. Like I literally stayed in bed crying because I'm like,
Oh,
no, like this wasn't the life I planned for
Yeah.
him. And it was literally one day, which I don't want to like shame other people because I know most people have a longer grieving period, but
Right.
that's just like kind of how I function. And the next day I got up and was like, what are you doing? He's still Sebastian. Like he's not terminally ill.
Right. Right.
He's
Literally
healthy.
just autistic.
Right.
Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Let's see what he needs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, next step and just move forward.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And I found like a Facebook group with all this information. I right away found his therapy center. He was there like a month later because like I toured a bunch of them and a lot of them looked like a doctor's office and I picked
Yeah.
one that didn't because I'm like, I still want you to be a kid.
Yeah, of course. Nothing like a sterile place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them had like white walls. I'm like, no, like this is
No.
absolutely terrible. So we found the one he's at and he's still there. He literally still goes there. And he's 6 now. So
That's awesome.
4 years.
before he turned 3.
And that's kudos to you for like recognizing that he needed the resources right away,
Yeah.
for finding the right resources and being his best advocate. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the advice I give to anybody who's like, I'll get a lot of messages where people are like, how did you know? Or like, what did you do? And I'm just like, early intervention, like get in there right away. If you sense anything is something, and it's not always the signs that people say, like people are like, oh, does he tippy toe walk? No, you know, and he is actually very different than a lot of my friends' kids who are autistic. Like he doesn't mind loud noises. We go anywhere with him and he's not like, you know, what do you
Right.
do? And that's fine. That's just not how he is. Like he likes fireworks shows and into Disney World. Like he travels fine.
Yeah.
He's very affectionate. And where like my older son is like, don't
He's giving the Heisman.
do. But the little one is like super lovey-dovey, and that's not typically a characteristic of
Right.
children. He
Yeah.
tries new food. Like,
Oh, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
he's a good eater, which is not typical. I actually just got a message from somebody, and she was like, I was really concerned because you couldn't find the right milk brand. And so I thought it was for your son. And like, is he okay? I'm like, actually, that was me. Like, I like milk brand. He doesn't care. Like, he eats anything.
It's so weird, the questions people ask, like through social media or the things they say that you would never say to someone in person, right?
That is a whole nother topic.
That is. I'll bring that up in a little bit. I don't want to cut you off here.
No, it's okay. But yeah, so it's been really rewarding, like it's different type of parenting, and not saying my other son is not important to us. He's amazing, but like it's just like every milestone with him is so big.
Yeah.
It's like, another kid, they potty train, and you're like, cool, you potty train. With him, it's like, oh my God, like you potty train. This is insane. Like, how did this even happen? This
Right. Yeah, you probably learned so much from him, and
Yeah.
patience, and just changes you, I'm sure.
Yeah, and like he really taught me not to judge people. Like,
That's awesome.
I mean, of course, we should never judge people.
But it's
We're
natural.
humans.
Yeah.
So different with him because it's like, when you meet like an adult and you're like, wow, that person's kind of weird. Like they're so socially awkward. That was
Right.
Now I'm like, well, maybe they were autistic. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I think
I think about that too a lot of times now.
yes,
you know,
our
like-
generation,
right.
there's so many, because we didn't have this large spectrum. So if you were verbal and like high functioning,
They just
then
missed it.
they missed it.
Right.
So it's great now
Right.
that it's completely different and you can get the help you need. And
it makes you think twice though, because you're like, I shouldn't be mean to this person. Like,
yeah.
Or-
weird.
Because they process things differently.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I remember like check out somewhere and like I'd be like, hi, how are you? And the person's like,
It's like, oh, they're being
and then
rude.
like in my head I'm like,
Right.
ew, whatever. And then like as I'm as younger, as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh my God, like this person whatever. And maybe they don't want to be friendly and that's
Yeah.
okay, but perhaps there is something
Right.
underlying going on here. Like stop being a bitch.
Judgmental about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that they're showing up to work and
Yes.
doing this job for them
Right.
is
Like,
like
it's
this
huge.
huge,
Yeah.
amazing thing. So
Yeah.
it's so
I
true.
never thought about that before. I was just
yeah.
you know,
Right.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I love how you said that you like that label is not negative for you and your family. Like that's awesome. Like you embrace it. Like you're still an amazing family no matter what.
Yeah, and that we've had some troubles with school, and you bringing that up is a big part of it because my whole thing with the school is being inclusive and like, I want my older son to be around more autistic people. Like he has a brother who's autistic,
Yeah.
so I see him every single day, and he totally gets it. But you mentioned, Danielle, that we didn't grow up around it.
Yeah.
And so I want him to grow up around it, and I want other children to grow up around it so they get it more. So they're not like how we were, where we're like, oh my God, you're autistic. Like, I don't know how to deal with
Yeah.
you.
I don't want to interact with
Right.
you. Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah.
When I was babysitting when I was a teenager, if someone would have told me like, oh, my kid's autistic, I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
no way. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know what that means.
Mhm.
Babysitters are like, he's autistic. Cool. I don't care. What do you
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I babysat for 2 autistic boys when I was younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the mom was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that like having great parents, like she would just give me tools like, hey, when he gets upset, this helps.
Right.
When, and the mom, and I think the parents really make a big difference in that child's life.
Yeah, you have to be involved. And I'm sure there's maybe for some people like a level of denial, maybe like
Yeah,
you
I was
don't
gonna
want
say that
a
too.
stigma.
Yeah, and I say this because my mom has a friend who growing up, her son was autistic, and it's pretty severe, and it's very sad, but they didn't really get him the help he needed. And I think it was because that it was such a hard thing for them to accept.
Yeah.
And then you see other children who did get the proper help, and half the time you wouldn't even know
No, they're
that.
thriving. in
Yeah.
life. Right.
So it's, and that's nothing, again, not saying anything negative towards her, because I can't imagine that must be such a
Different
hard thing.
times,
Yeah,
yeah.
and definitely different
Right.
times
Yeah.
for sure. So that's a huge thing too. But I think it's amazing that you're getting him all this help. And
Yeah, there's a huge level of denial, and there's like a huge percentage of marriages that break up because
I didn't
get
think about that.
Yeah.
it, and it takes a lot to parent him, like more than my older son, because he needs
Right.
more. And like right now, he goes to preschool in the morning. Halfway through the day, he goes to therapy, so we have to pick him up.
Mm.
Halfway through school, take him to therapy, then pick him up from therapy, and then he has other therapies outside
Right.
of that therapy, and like there's a
Mhm.
lot that goes into that. And they have parent meetings and parent trainings, and you have to be very involved. And so
Yeah.
you're not a team, like there's no way that it works because either
Right.
one of you has to be with the other kid, or it's sometimes it's really nice to have us both there.
Mhm.
And my husband and I, like, I'm not like saying, oh, we have the best marriage ever, but we just really team up. And like, if
Good.
I say, hey, I think this appointment's gonna be kind of hard, can you go with me? He's like,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
amazing.
so if you don't have that support, like dealing with an autistic child is not easy. So
Do you so your transition into being a full-time content creator, has that helped? You have the autonomy in your day to do
Yeah.
what you need to do. So like to be present, be there for your son. Has that helped a lot?
it's been so big, and I mentioned this a while back on my stories. Before I was full time, my husband used to do everything. So he
Wow.
was the one. He works full time from home. So he's an IT guy, so he could like, do whatever he
Pop
needs.
out.
He is. So he took it all on himself and was like, I'll be the one to pick him up, transport him, and do all the things. So me going full time now, I'm the one that does all the things. And like I used to joke and say, I don't even think the school knows my name. Like they don't like, what kid are you picking up? When I would
That
go,
must have been so hard for you too, as a
kind
mom.
of embarrassing. Like I'm like, like what? That's my kid. Like, what are you talking? Who are you picking up? And it's been amazing. I mean, not only has it taken off a burden from my husband, which is so nice for him, but
Yeah.
now I'm like really involved with my son, and just even making friends with all his therapists. And
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
so it's been really nice. And yeah, it's been great. It's like a dream come true for sure.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. So happy for you.
Yeah.
So going back to that, curious, was there some sort of not formula, but did you have a plan? Like, this is how I'm going to get to where I want to be. Like, I'm always like, do I need more hashtags? Do I need to, like, how do I?
No, I never thought this was going to happen.
That's
So
awesome. What a great surprise.
yeah. Around, let's see, last year in June, I don't know, whatever, June, July, I got invited to an Amazon event for influencers, and it was very small. Like it was only 50 people
Wow.
days each, so 150 total. And at the time, I think I only had like 35,000 followers or something like that. And I'm like,
Amazing.
Only.
Yeah.
Only.
That's pretty extraordinary.
that's bizarre. Like,
You grew that organically too,
Yeah.
right?
yes, all
That's
organic.
impressive.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I went to that event, and I'm there with people that have like 1 million followers. And I'm like, they'd be like, what's your account? I'm like, oh, God. So embarrassing. But I went up to one of the Amazon people, and I'm like, why'd you guys invite me here? Because I was like, I don't fit in. Like, what's happening? And they were like, what? Why would you say that? Of course you fit in. I'm like, no, like, this is awkward,
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, like we see a ton of potential in you. Like we think you're
Wow.
amazing. We specifically invited you for that reason. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then that was when it kind of like just started taking off. So I'm like, I don't know if Amazon, like if you guys help Instagram to push my stuff.
Right.
That's not what happened. But it was just, I think it like sparked my just being like, oh my God, I could do this.
Yeah, your confidence.
Think I could do this. And then I met more content creators there, and that just really helped build it. But at that specific event, the girls kept telling me like, you're going to be full-time soon. And I'm like, no, I'm not even close to that.
Isn't that amazing? Other people like were hyping you up and like telling you that this is how it's going to be before you even like could acknowledge it yourself.
Yeah, and they're like, your life is going to change. Like, just wait. And I'm like,
And it's so cool because like they're not competition. They were like, no, your peers and your friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say that now that I'm thinking about it, I think I found your page through Shelby Scott's page.
yeah.
And I've seen her. I mean, I think I've been following her since she had like 200,000 followers. Now she's at almost like 800, I think. But I just love that you guys are always sharing each other's stuff and posting about like, it's not competition. It's like there's so
Building
much to
to
go
it.
around,
Yeah.
and everyone's got a different style and a different body, and it's like the empowering each other thing, and I love that so much.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about it is like I've met some new best friends from it because, you know, I wouldn't say I like lost friends along the way, but a lot of friends don't get it. And like, honestly, strangers have supported me more than friends just because friends don't get it. Like, they don't
Right.
and they're like, you already have 100,000 followers. You don't need me to like and comment on your stuff. I'm like, no, I really need you to.
Oh, that's like a level of probably jealousy, right? Or envy, whatever, you know.
So, you know, having content creator friends who get it, who if I'm like, I have two friends that I don't know if you've seen our series, but we do like a series every week called the Mid-Sized Besties.
Oh,
Like we're literally talking all day long, texting.
oh, so cool.
Like my reel flopped, my reel sucks.
But being real with each other.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick your brain about how to blow up this podcast.
And I was telling you, that's what I did before I was a content creator. While I was being a content creator, I was helping real estate agents with their social media. So I like
Funny.
it all kind of like blended together. And then I was just like, okay, I guess I can do this because I know what I'm doing, you know?
So cool. And I've met you, we are real estate agents too. So it's funny, but I love that so much. And I'm definitely going to pick your brain.
I fell actually down a rabbit hole looking at your page, and I have to like I don't sit and think too much about like what I'm going to wear each day, but looking at the outfits that you were putting together so effortlessly gave me confidence. You know, I was thinking to myself, like, if like I could do this, like I'm going to just copy everything that you're doing here.
It's so cute.
You know, it's really like it was empowering to look at your page. So like, make
And I'm sure it made you
tap yourself on the
Yeah.
It made you feel good, right? It's something that you look at, you're like, I feel
100%.
good. Yeah.
And your energy is great as well. You know, which I think is just really, you know, comes across
Yeah.
really well.
That's why I messaged you. I was like, I just love your stuff. Sound like a total weirdo.
You're a super fan.
We're
Super fan.
fangirling over you.
Messages like that say that I'm like, me?
Aw.
You know, and honestly, I'll like show my husband. He's like, stop, like, yes, this is you. And I'm like,
Yeah. Because it's so much more than just, oh, that's a cute outfit, you know? So that's what I love about it so much. And yeah, that's amazing. Totally. I had something to ask you. I forget. Well, another question. Do you have anyone that edits your content at all? You do everything yourself?
everything.
Bro.
Have like an assistant or anything. I should get one, and I'm definitely like in need of one soon. But it's all I film it.
You know what I like about that? I feel like that's why you're doing so well, because your stuff is just authentic.
Yeah.
It's you. It's not like somebody else is putting a spin on what you want to do. You're able to put your own spin on it.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't like gotten help or anything, because I'm not actually not a type A person at all. I'm like a super, I guess it's called type B, like go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like need
B plus.
A B plus. Yeah.
B
That's what I like to call myself.
to like nagger or anything like that. But with this stuff, that's I think in the back of my head, I'm like, if I let someone else do it, it's not really for me. And
Yeah.
Right.
I struggle a lot with like taking collabs because I'm like, no, don't like you. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no one helps me. A big part of my income with it is because I run a Facebook group. So I don't know if you guys like.
No way.
Oh,
I didn't know about what's that like? Or
So
what?
I run a Facebook group for Amazon deals.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. I love Amazon.
separate from my page, and it's on Facebook, and it has like 10,000 members. And basically I start posting deals like early in the morning, and that is kind of completely separate. but still the same because I'll post like a picture of me in the outfit with, whatever's on sale. And that's kind of become its own community because like a lot of the people have been in there for a while. So they'll like talk back and forth in the comments, or they follow me as well on like Instagram and they're like, oh, I saw you do a reel on that. I got to buy it now, things like that. So that's another thing that I'm like, well, I can't just let go of that. I can't let someone else.
Yeah, no.
I love that.
That's me. Like they're used to me,
Yeah. And I'm sure you genuinely like all the things that you are wearing and showing, that's really what you like.
Yeah. I can't post things I don't like. Like I cannot.
Which I appreciate.
I don't have it in me. And I'll tell you a specific story. Like I show a lot of my underwear and they're like the number one seller that I have, my underwear, right? Like, compression undies, and like they always catch people off guard where they're like, what was that underwear you just had? So this one brand, they were like, we want to send you our compression undies. I'm like, cool, yeah, I would love to find more affordable ones because the ones I wear are like $20 a pair. They sent me them and I was like, these are the worst underwear. Absolutely not will I ever post this. And they're like, so when are you going to post them? Like, I'm not ever.
Yeah, you have integrity.
I even wrote them back and was like, these are the things wrong with them. Like the waistband is so freaking tight. They actually make my stomach push out more. Like so bad. Then a couple weeks later, I just see all these people posting them. And I'm like,
you're liars. They're not good.
Please don't buy those. Like I really wanted to be in the comments like, don't buy them.
You're going to regret it. Yeah.
So bad. Even my friend Veronica, she's like, I got to post those underwear. I'm like, don't post them. Please.
Yeah.
I know they are not good. And she's like, I haven't tried them on. I'm like, go try them and dump them.
And don't post it. Yeah. So do you get to keep all these outfits that everyone sends you that you post? That's so cool. I love it. And it's like, they just send it, right? Do you have to like buy things?
Both.
Do you have a closet?
I know. I want to shop in your closet.
I have a whole room.
That's so cool.
But I would say mine is like a lot of stuff I buy too, because I don't take as many collabs as my peers do.
Yeah.
Because I just don't like, I like to post things on my own time. Like I like to post it.
Yeah.
And they're if you take a collab, they're like, you have to post it this day, you have to do this. I'm like,
a lot of micromanaging.
Yeah.
So I only work with the brands that are like, let you pick what, you're sharing. And I've done away with any that are like, this is exactly what we want you to share. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I would say I probably buy half.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, and then the other thing is that I have lost a lot of weight. So I actually needed new clothes, so it was kind of like other content creators, they've had their clothes for so long, they don't really need new clothes. I actually did need new clothes. So I kept a lot, but I give away like so much because it's just, it's not reasonable. Like it's a lot of clothes.
Like it's not healthy.
I don't go anywhere. So I'm like,
I know, right?
Maybe you can have an event, like a fashion show event, right? Like you get some of your girlfriends together and,
I love that. Content fashion show.
Followers, like anyone have a wedding? Can I come? Because
lots of dresses.
That's so.
You'll have to come visit us at the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
We'll plan like a weekend.
So
you got the outfits for it.
Do you have any, tips in fashion or any trends you're seeing that you're liking?
The vest is huge for spring, like the 90s vest.
I love that.
I know. I love that's coming back.
Like I could wear a vest every single day.
I love vests. I
think they're great. And I think they're really great for women with curves because it just gives you that extra layer and then kind of hides the back fat. You know what I mean? So I think wearing a tight shirt and then having a vest is such a good look. But I have a lot of people who are like, ew, that's so 90s. Like
I love the 90s.
All the 90s.
Yeah, 90s are back. Yep. They must have been born in the 2000s.
Gen Xers.
They're a lot older than us. Those women are actually the worst.
So that I was going to bring that up too. So you posted something, I don't know, maybe it was a week or two ago, that someone was like talking shit to you on Reddit. And
About me, yeah.
what was that? Sorry, could I?
About me, not to
Yeah. It wasn't even too. Yeah. And I'm like, people are so fucking mean. And they were like, those dresses are ugly. Why would you post that? Whatever. And I'm just like,
She would never say that to your face.
never.
Right.
And I'm like, what? It's like it has to stem from jealousy, I assume.
Jealousy,
but
people are angry with themselves. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's probably bots too, I would think too. Like
oh, I never even thought about that.
But the Reddit thing was insane. I don't use Reddit. Like I don't
Me neither.
I don't even know. Like,
I don't really know what it is.
at all, but okay. So there was a girl who I knew was like a little shady, and she's a content creator, but not anything like that. And Dawn and Veronica, my friends, were asking me like, well, what do you know about her that's shady? And I'm like, a long time ago I saw it. So I Googled it and it came up on Reddit. And that's where there's whole threads of people just talking shit about influencers.
Wow.
Like it's like the weekly influencer something they call it. I don't really know. So
They talk bad on purpose.
Like a roast.
very bad, like horrible about so many different people. So I'm like, let me look myself up. Don't know why.
Yeah.
And there was this one, but I'm like, you know what? I made it to there. I think I've made it. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of
Right.
like
if people are talking shit about you, you're doing something right, honestly.
that's
You're on their
so-
radar.
It's so
Yeah.
true. So true. In a public forum.
and I don't get a lot of people like commenting mean things. I don't know. It doesn't happen for me all the time, but it does happen. And I will say it's normally an older woman, like
Interesting.
normally 65 and up.
That's
that is
so
very
strange.
interesting.
I feel like they are critical. Like, and
Well,
I hate
you
to
know what? It's a
generalize.
different generation because
Right.
I think like our generation and the one ahead of us and now definitely the ones coming up behind us, we're all about girl power. We're
Yeah.
about like empowering each other and
Collaboration.
being more like fixing each other's crowns
Mhm.
than tearing them
And
down.
it's just like, why? Just
Yeah.
move along.
I know.
You're not hurting anyone, you know?
But that's a generation. If you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all.
I know.
They don't get it. Like they don't really understand what a content creator is. They
Mhm.
think, I think they literally think in their heads, like this girl just wants to show me outfits. Like they don't understand that it's a job,
Yeah.
a career. Like they do not get that whatsoever. I recently had a lady who was like, I don't want you to send me the link. Just tell me the name. And I'm like, no, literally like those links support my family. So that's why people don't just tell you the name. And I get that that's weird, but the links are what pay our bills.
Yeah.
Right.
And why
You're
would you
doing
want
the
to?
legwork.
And why
to-
wouldn't you want to support that? Like, if I
Right.
knew that, 100%, I'm supporting that.
Right. Why is that any different than a musician or like whatever?
Buy my
Yeah,
album direct. Yeah.
You're right. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, and I just don't think they understand it. And that's the thing, like we're doing the legwork, you know, and it's free to you. It doesn't cost
Right.
any money to click on a link, just like a travel agent, you know.
Yes. Yes.
You should choose to book with them so they make a commission, like a real estate agent. You should.
Yes.
First, don't even get me on that rant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Especially when you're buying a house, you know,
Exactly.
cost you anything. Like, what is the big deal? So I think they just don't get it.
Mhm.
And then they think that from what the comments that they have said to me, they think that I am showing my outfit to ask if people like it. And I'm like,
Oh, okay. That's bizarre.
so yeah, so they'll be like, ew, I would never wear that. Or like one lady told me, that looks terrible and your boobs look saggy. And I'm like, they are saggy.
Why even comment?
What in the world?
Oh, you're just- like,
I know. I'm like, hers are
Can I see a picture of you? Yeah.
very saggy.
Let me see you in this outfit.
Your boobs look saggy. I'm like, they are.
They are.
You would like to do to like a boob lift? Cool.
Are you going to pay for it?
Right.
My saggy boobs. I've had 2 kids. Like
Right.
Right.
I'm turning 40. Like what? Yeah. Those are the most comments I'll get. Like, ew, that's so ugly. I would never wear that.
But you have to, I guess, take that, right, the good with the bad. And are you trying to learn how to like let it roll off?
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I've never been the type that took things to heart. So
That's
I
good.
think this works for me because
Mhm.
I'm not saying like my whole life I've been like, I'm better than you, but the one lesson that my dad taught me like in my teenage years was never to stress about things that you can't control.
Mm.
And it's like he would always be like, well, that's a them problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is.
And so I just always had that in the back of my head. And I mean, maybe that was like misconstrued as like, oh, she's a bitch because, you know, she doesn't care about me saying something bad about her. But I'm like, okay, well, that's the
Confidence.
problem. Like,
Mhm.
That's true.
That's another thing that people, I'm sure, are jealous about because that's a hard thing to embody.
And put
Yeah,
yourself
you
out there. I know, because you're
Yeah.
putting yourself out there every day for thousands of people. Of course, there's going to be mean comments, but you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Those comments aren't stopping you, which is awesome.
Yeah. I
I'm
love
bothered.
that.
I think for every mean comment, there are like 100
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The mean ones really, they stand out more because,
Yeah, thing.
oh, you know, the nice ones like definitely overtake them and make it worth it. Every time I get a mean comment, people are like, you know, keep your head up, like you're doing good. So it always means a lot to me when I get that more than like, ew.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, can you just keep scrolling? Or like,
Move on.
I literally told a lady, I was like, I have a question. If you walked into work, because this is my job, if you walked into your work and someone came up to you and said, I really don't like your outfit, how would you feel? And
Right. Can you imagine?
no one would say that. I'm like, you just
Right.
did. Like,
Exactly.
good.
It's so easy to hide behind the screen.
Mhm.
Oh,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah, and I just think people don't get it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, some people are assholes too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, before you lived in Chicago, you lived in LA for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
You spend your formidable years there, like your teen years? Okay.
I was 15.
Wow.
So I moved there in high school. My sophomore
Wow.
year.
Oh God, girl.
In LA, that's a probably different world.
I went to Beverly Hills High School, which
Wow.
I said that in my stories one day, and people were like going crazy.
Wow.
Is it like Clueless?
You know, it was like every other high school. I think the really rich kids in Beverly Hills go to private school, so it
True.
wasn't like anything. I mean, yeah, there were people driving Range Rovers, BMWs, Mercedes, like things like that, but it wasn't all that. It was fine. But I did move there, and I moved there to live with my dad because my parents were divorced when I was really young.
Okay.
And I would spend my summers in LA because my dad moved there when I was 13, and I was like, "Hey, I want to live with you," and he was like, "What?" You know.
You're like, screw this weather.
Yeah, well, you know what? My mom and I have an older sister. They were just like they were a lot of drama. They would argue a lot, and I'm not really like that. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because you know, when you get to like your teenage years, you're
Yeah.
starting to get into yourself, and you're like,
Mhm.
I'm not really into that, but I'm into this. You know, and
Right.
I was always really big into sports, and my dad is a big sports guy, and my mom like she wouldn't even go to my softball games, and I'm like. That kind of sucks. Like I want someone to be there. So,
Yeah.
so I went and everyone was like, you're gonna move back. Like you're gonna hate it. Like, okay, well if I do, I do, you know?
Right.
Right?
No, I loved living with my dad. I loved that it was just me and him and I was able to play year-round softball. Like that was amazing to me. And then I stayed there until I had my second kid.
Wow. Okay. Oh, so is that where you met your husband then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I met my husband playing softball, funny enough, because I still play to this day, but I met him and I was like, I would never date you. So carry on. Hey, you're not my type at all. And I don't date people from softball. So
So you're a no.
Can't ruin this team.
I mean, he wasn't really like trying to date me in the beginning, but he would get a little flirty and I was like, it's never going to happen. You know, it was funny. My favorite story about my husband is that when I met him, I'm like, what do you do? Like, what's your job? You know, he's like, I work at Whole Foods. So I'm like, ew, like, so, and I was already 29. So I'm like, I'm not dating a bagger. Like, no offense.
Yeah.
that's not cute. Like, because you're like, when you're like, I'm not married.
Yeah.
I'm like a serious boyfriend. Like, this is bad, and a bagger's not it. So
Yeah. I want a house.
tell him, I'm like, wow, like you're pretty smart for a bagger. Like, this is huh. And totally being stereotypical because he's a Mexican guy. He's like a big guy. He's really into like wearing Jordans and like very urban wear and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I don't know this guy's deal, but whatever.
Yeah.
And he had a really fancy car, and I'm like, something isn't adding up. Like, I need to ask him more because he was
Math isn't mathing.
the math is not mathing. Like, he's a drug dealer. Or, I don't know. The nicest person ever. And I'm like, okay. Drug dealers are nice people.
True.
And I got to know him more, and I'm like, so which store do you work at? Which Whole Foods? Because I shop at Whole Foods all the time. I've never seen you. And he was like, I work at the corporate office. And I'm like,
Wow. That's a whole new level.
you gotta lead with that. Like, you gotta come out the gate saying, I work at Whole Foods corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just work at Whole Foods.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
That is a huge.
So I'm like, well, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm in IT. I'm like, what? Like, it had already been a while that I known him. So I'm like, this is
That's funny.
That's hysterical.
That's
then I started seeing him in a different light. And I'm like, huh.
like, you are cute.
He said to one of my friends, like, I like Stacy so much as a friend that, like, if that's all she wants, like, I would want to be in her life forever like that. I was like,
That's the best relationship.
like, because I was dating like terrible guys, just absolutely
dealers.
The wrong types.
good job. So that's why I was like trying to not do that. And then, he was just like, hey, do you want to go to a Dodger game one day? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, should we invite, all of our friends? I'm like, no, like we should go.
Aw.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah. Because it was really hard to like move from friend zone.
Yeah.
I really like you.
Aw.
So it kind of just took off, and we actually got pregnant after 6 months.
Wow.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever, you knew each other for so long.
Yeah, I mean, he was like very excited, and I was like, oh God, like
Now we're committed.
I was still like, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I like you a lot. You're very nice. You take care of me really well. Like, you do things that no other guy has ever done for me, but I'm like, don't ask me to marry you because I'm pregnant. Like, don't you dare.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And then it worked out so well. Like, it could have been so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Right.
He's like the most amazing person I've ever
Aw.
I love that story.
met. So we got married after my oldest was 18 months at our wedding.
That
Aw.
is so cute.
That's awesome.
It was so rough. Like, he's been a daddy's boy since he came out the womb.
Really?
On my wedding day, he was a mommy's boy.
Oh.
Go figure, right?
So he only wanted me, and your dress is like 100 pounds. I'm like, dude, like this.
Can I breathe?
Sweating.
And then we had our younger son, and we moved when the little one was 2 months.
What brought you back there?
Well, so when I think it was like right before I got pregnant, I kept telling my husband, like, I never dreamt of raising kids in LA. Like, he's born and raised in LA. And
Okay.
and I'm like, I'm not trying to be like offensive or anything like that. It's just not the life that I dreamt of. Cause you always think about like, I'm going to have kids. I'm going to live here. They're going to have a house with a backyard, like whatever your personal dream was.
Yeah.
Mine was not to raise them in LA.
You just knew that. Yeah.
I just knew I didn't want that for them. So we were living in a condo, and it was like a 2-bedroom condo, 1,200 square feet, which is perfectly fine for most people in LA. But I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and I was like, I know that we could have more for the same price. Like
Yard, the driveway. Mhm.
And my dad had already moved back here. So my parents were not there. And I was like, either way, someone's parents are out. It's either
Right.
mine are out. And I kind of want mine to be.
Especially as the mother. I know. It's like,
yeah, you need your parents.
mhm.
That's so
I
funny.
had boys, and like my dad always wanted boys, so I'm like,
Aw.
I just really want like my dad to get to
Aw.
experience this. And my husband's like, okay, well, let's go visit. I've never seen the suburbs. I've only been in the city. Like, let's check it out. And we came, and he was like 100% yes. Like,
Aw.
That's awesome.
I love this like so much. This is so much better than what we could give them here, you know. And
He was on board.
yeah, and he loves living here. Like in the winter, he's like, I love this. I'm like,
That's wild because that is a huge change.
yeah, I hate the winter. I'm
Me
like,
too.
Me too.
sucks. Like, I don't want to wear snow boots for the freaking
Right.
row. But he's like, I love it. Like, he's so
Good for you.
But there's a
But
give and a
yeah.
take, right? Yes, you have to do the winter, but that you get that charm of the
Yeah.
life you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bigger house for the same price.
I get, you know, some of my old friends are like, oh, haha, it's 80 degrees here. I'm like, haha, have fun in your tiny apartment.
So true.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll around on my grass.
I'm gonna go shovel my driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people want that life, and that's fine. I just, two boys, like in a, no.
No.
And
I have a 5-year-old boy, and
Mhm.
and they have boys. We all are boy moms, so like we get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
if we didn't have this house, I don't know what we would have done.
Oh my gosh.
Another part of that is I don't know what we would have done for my son if we stayed in LA because the
Right.
services are so different there. They're not as good, which is like so weird, but
Yeah.
it's so different raising an autistic child here where there's more things available to us in
Right.
the community that I can lean on more people.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
Point.
So weird, but it, you know, everything happens for a reason. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'll take it.
What a beautiful story. Like
I know.
to hear like how you guys met, to the dating, to the kids, to the content creator, to all of it.
I know. You're so cool.
You are the epitome of a mom boss.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask my older son, he's not impressed.
Most kids aren't with their
That's
moms.
the
Yeah.
age, right?
Recognize like most of the time when I'm with him, I don't know what it is, but most of the time when I'm with my older son and I'll be like, did you hear that? Like they knew mommy from Instagram. And he's like, okay.
Like great.
He's like, L.
What are you doing, mom? Filming. I'm
Oh.
like,
He'll grow up and appreciate it.
How many hours a day do you film?
2 maybe.
Okay.
I think that the bulk of the work comes from like the back end stuff.
Right. You're right.
Editing.
For me is like quick, but I don't film every day. I'll film like, I don't know, like 4 days a week.
Okay.
Or 3 days if I'm lucky.
Mm.
And then half the time I'm just sitting there staring at everything. Like, what should I do today?
Yeah, that must be a lot. What to post, when to post, this,
Mhm.
that. Like,
Right now is like such a weird time, you know? Like, it's like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like tired of winter fashion. I'm like,
yeah, I'm ready for
January
spring.
45th.
Over the sweaters. Yeah.
this was fun in the beginning. Like, I love a sweater. I love leggings and a sweater, but I'm like, I don't want to wear that again, you know? So right now is I'm just like I'm staring at everything. I'm like, I don't even know what people want to see.
I'm
So
looking forward to the vest. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah.
We're going away for spring break, and I'm like, all right, is she gonna post some bathing suits,
Right.
some dresses?
going to Mexico in a month.
Oh.
So, yes,
All right, good.
I've ordered kind of a lot.
That's the best part about going away.
We're going for my 40th birthday. So,
Awesome.
Happy birthday! That's awesome.
so the kids are coming with us. Like we don't really leave them just because my younger son, you know, we're not like too confident that someone could watch him for more than
Schedule. Yeah, I'm sure he wants to be with you guys.
yeah, and so we're just not ready to leave him for a long extended time. The older one, like he goes and sleeps at my parents' house, and he's like, "Don't pick me up."
Leave me alone. My son's like that too.
Yeah, but the little one, we're just not there yet. So they're coming with us, but it still should be really fun no matter
Oh
what.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
definitely.
amazing.
I don't think I would want to go without them anyway. Like I would be there and I would just be like, I wish they were here.
Yeah,
What are
it's
they doing?
yeah, it's so funny you say that, and these two are gonna yell at me. But my husband and I have been we've been talking for months and months about planning a ski weekend, like Vermont, just the two
Just-
of
yeah.
us. And we're texting today. He's at work and he's like, all right, we're going to book it when we get home. And then not even 5 minutes later, he calls me. He's like, should we just take the kids? I don't want to leave June. We have a 2.5-year-old girl. He's like, it's just different with her. I just don't think she's going to be okay without either of us. And I'm like, she's going to be fine.
That's fine.
But like, I get the idea of it. I love, but I know when we're there, I'll be like, fuck, we should have taken them.
Yeah.
Even like the night before, I would be like, I don't think I want to go anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So them coming with is, when you're a mom, you get this new anxiety that comes out of nowhere, and you're thinking the worst thing ever. You're like, what if we go on vacation, something happens to us, then they're completely screwed. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
all or nothing.
Yeah.
We don't go.
And it's your birthday celebration. How cool. They'll be there to celebrate mommy's
40
birthday.
is a good, a nice mile. We turned 40 this year, so it's a fun milestone to enjoy with your kiddos.
Yeah. And the older one's really excited because we're going to Cancun. Like, it's not like Mexico. But like,
It's not
It's
here.
palm
Resort.
trees.
Yes.
it's like I'll get to hear them speaking Spanish, and I'm like,
Oh, that's so sweet.
I love that. You're like, that's what you're looking forward to?
Spanish. So I'm like, I don't know why.
That's great. Well, is there any other little nuggets you have to share with us?
As far as like your real estate content creation, I will drop a few nuggets.
I love it.
I could, like, if there is one thing that I could ask every realtor that I worked with, was to please be consistent. Like, every single one was not ever consistent. But also the biggest thing about doing social media when you're in real estate is you have to bring value. And your value is not really, I sold this, I sold that, that's under contract. It's not that. You have to look at it from a different side of things. So you want to post a reel that people are going to share and save, so that they'll refer back to. So if you're dropping like knowledge about how to buy a house, what you could buy. My favorite types of reels for realtors are like, this is what 300,000 buys you here. This is what 800,000 buys you here. Like, that will get anyone's attention, because people are like, oh, wow, like, that's not, wow, like, I didn't know
That's
that.
what I'm looking for. Right. Yeah. That's what I want.
That's a reel that people will send to their friends. Like, they're like, oh my God.
Or share with their husband or spouse. Like, look,
That's a good.
Every time you post a reel, you want it to be something people will share and save.
Yeah. Right.
And the other thing is, like, in real estate, like, B-roll. Do you know what a B-roll is? B-roll content is so big, because a lot of realtors don't really want to like talk and show their face on screen, but just like do B-roll content. Like, literally film your hands typing, put a little quote over it, and you have a reel, It doesn't always have to be this huge production. Just get the content out there, and it's always quality over quantity. But if you could just for a little bit to get used to like posting reels, just do short ones. And then the other ones that I really love is like a day in the life, because people don't. I always tell people there are two like super underappreciated professions, and it's real estate agents and content creators.
Yes.
Honestly, like, people just don't know what goes into it. They think that you guys just,
Unlock a door and that's it.
Here you go. I just made thousands. And they also don't understand that you don't actually make thousands.
Right.
You pay taxes. You got to pay your brokerage fees, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So just getting more like awareness out there about what you guys do really, and it makes you just look smart and busy. And a lot of my real estate agents I would work with would be like, well, I have no business. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, no one knows that. Like, nobody knows.
Right.
Person has no idea how to look up how many homes you have sold. They have not one clue. And if you're with a brokerage that has a ton of history, like, just use that. That you have not sold one home, or you've sold 5 or 10 or whatever it is. And sure, there's the people that are like, I've sold 100 homes this year. Well, I'm like, that's cool for you, but did you pay attention to any of your clients?
Yeah, nobody cares.
And you're probably lying.
Just just get your content up there. You don't have to do it every single day. Instagram tells you it's 3 to 5 times a week. So if you can post 3 to 5 times a week, don't try to do all those like little fads that people do, like hiding the keywords on the screen or whatever. I can't even think of what the ones are right now, but there's like, you'll see people that are like selling a course on how to like ignore them.
I hate that. The
Yeah.
courses.
I guess, yeah.
I literally just had a call with Instagram like 2 weeks ago, and I got to have like a 20-minute call where I was able to ask any questions that I wanted. And that's what they told me. So they said 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay.
I post multiple times a day. So now I only post once a day, but not 3 to 5. I have too much content. Not
Hold back, yeah.
But they said 3 to 5 times a week. It doesn't have to be like a specific day or time. They're seeing 12 to 5 at any time zone is working best for posting. No more than 8 hashtags, and hashtags are still relevant. It's not just keywords.
And interesting, no more than 8.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's one other thing with real estate agents. Like, don't use your own tag. Like, use tags that people search for.
Right. Right.
And the biggest, my last gem I will drop that I used to tell everyone was, as a real estate agent, you don't need to be an influencer, but you should be the influencer of your town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to like blow up. You don't need to have 100,000 followers.
Right.
You just want people in your town to know your face, know your name, know who you are, and like be the town go-to for
I love
everything.
that.
So
So true.
Sweet. Thank
That's
you so much
good.
for sharing. That's
I love that.
amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
I'm gonna pick your brain more too after this.
Yeah.
I definitely, I don't miss working, but I'm like, I know a lot of my agents are like, oh, where are you going?
Yeah, really.
Aw.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure it goes across the board, like to anything, like our podcast.
Yeah.
That we want to blow this up.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This has been like
Where can we? So
amazing.
you're on Instagram, and what's your handle on Instagram?
Stacy Shines Joy on basically everything. So Instagram, I do have a Facebook page. I have the Facebook group that is linked on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Great.
And then I have a TikTok too, but
Are you mostly on Instagram?
Yeah, how I feel about TikTok. I'm like,
Yeah.
too old.
Well, we'll be sure to link everything
Yes,
on our
definitely.
when we post this. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
thanks for the support. I always appreciate it.
Oh,
Love
thank
it.
you.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.